From hillbilly crime, you can't hide from hillbilly crime. You may not know that there's a crew in town. The head hillbillies are making their rounds. Small town whispers loud and clear. The sheriff shot the judge in his chambers chair. Sheriff got a secret he won't keep. Judge shot dead in his disbelief. A lot of people have some stories to tell. Dog passed away, get the sound of a shotgun shell. All the secrets belong down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be bound. Neighbors hide behind their blinds. Whisper tales of troubled minds. Skeletons covering the mountainside. A treacherous reality in the pines. Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight couldn't mask the cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise. All the secrets belong down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be
Well, hey, I'm putting a sock on. I wonder what happened to the intro. It just went off all of a sudden. Hello, hello, hello. Hi there, Mommy. How are you?
Oh, I'm mighty fine indeed. I hope you had a good day.
Oh, well, I have been cold all day.
It's going to warm you tomorrow.
I just got out of the shower and got ready for the show, and I couldn't get out of the shower. I don't know if you ever get chilled, like to the bone. That's what I call it. I get chilled to the bone.
Me too.
And I just cannot get warmed up. And the only way that I can get warmed up is to take a hot shower. That's it. But welcome to the show. But Butler, Kentucky is in the house. I love it when you are here. With my big Jenkins hoodie. Butler. It has become part of my wardrobe. All right. So, tonight's topic, man, oh man, stronger than fentanyl, y'all. Now in Kentucky and in Tennessee. It's all over the country. It ain't just in Tennessee or in Kentucky. We tend to be one of the last stops, I think. down here in these mountains. I could be wrong about that, but that just seems like how I observe it. Every time there's a new trend in designer drugs, or anytime there's a new trend in something, we tend to get it last. And so, truthfully, that ought to give us some sort of an insight into what's coming, if you really think about it. But that ain't the way that it tends to work, unfortunately. But come on in, everybody's coming on in. We were a few minutes late. Now, just for those of you, oh, thank you, honey. But Butler, $10 super sticker. I appreciate that very, very much. Thank you. And great segue. We have a goal in our live chat tonight. 10. Our goal is to get 10 $5 supers or stickers or gift memberships. Okay. Just 10 $5. Let's see if we can hit that confetti tonight, y'all. We are viewer supported, fully viewer supported, so it really helps us a lot. But if you cannot, don't even think twice about it. The best way that you can help support us is just to watch, just to be here. Hit the like button. Put a little bit of DNA on that like button. We saw some others. Season and Sprout. I ain't seen you in a while, honey. Welcome home. Welcome home. This is our hillbilly house, y'all. This is our hillbilly house where everybody is at home. We got Sweet Tater with us as usual.
Oh, yeah.
Well, so Mommy, we're going to be talking about substance abuse tonight.
Okay.
And let me turn my volume up a little bit here. And so we're going to have two different perspectives. Okay. Me am in recovery. For those of you who are not familiar with my story, we have 15 years of recovery on my end. And Mommy has never dealt with any kind of substance abuse in the form of, personal addiction to drugs or alcohol. But I'll let you speak on that, Mommy. Give us a little bit of your story with, an addict, not an addict, an alcoholic, not an alcoholic.
Well, I'm not an alcoholic for sure, because my dad was an alcoholic. And I'm telling you, he was a falling down drunk. And that made me hate alcohol. And I still do till today.
Mm-hmm.
And I see these people take these drinks and have these drinks. I watch a lot of foreign films, that are made in other countries where you got to read the story, on PBS, places like that. Well, so anyway, and they drink wine, and we drink wine in this country, and I think, then I'm going to get me some wine and try drinking it, because everybody else does, and I may be missing out on something. But I never do get that job handled. I go look at it, but I can't never decide what to buy, and it's so expensive. So I never did drink.
Yeah, I'm not much of a drinker. Now, I used to be. I started drinking Gregory, take Pup in your bedroom with you, and tell Alan to go out and shut the gate on the porch so those dogs will stay off the porch, please. Sorry. If I don't do that, yeah, it'll be a mess. And I forgot what I was talking about. I'm so sorry.
You were talking about you drank when you were young.
Yeah. So, you know, we really have to be careful what is in our home, you know, even though as an adult, you know, as an adult, once you're 21 years old, you can drink, you know, you can have alcohol in your home. But here's the thing, whenever you have a 12 or a 13 or however old child, sometimes when our backs are turned, you know, we just don't know what's happening. And that's what I saw my dad drink. I saw it was, you know, my brother was drinking. My dad would let my brother drink once he turned 18. They were allowed to drink at the house with them, with my dad and my stepmom. And so, you know, alcohol was seen as like a, you know, and my dad drank. I mean, he wasn't an alcoholic in the form he couldn't keep a job or anything. He was a very, you know, he worked. He had a real good work ethic. But he could drink him a 6-pack after work and stop after that 6-pack, you know. But it was a normal thing in my home. And so as a 13-year-old, I started drinking because I just thought it was normal. That's what you did. You know, I thought that's what you did. And I snuck it. You know, I would sneak behind their backs and do it. You know, I'd go to friends house who I knew their parents would lie for me. You know, not all parents are honest. Like my dad would always say, "Well, I got to talk to their parents first." And I'd be like, "Okay."
Well,
I
that's sad that happened to you. I never had alcohol in my house. None of my houses. I've never been one to stock alcohol. Now, Willie went out and bought him some beer sometime or another, and he put it in the refrigerator, but he never did drink it. I don't know why he was buying it.
I know. I know. But you know,
I'd look at the expiration date finally and throw it away and tell him then, but I didn't want to throw it away when he brought it in or say, "You can't bring it here," because that just make him want to do more. And if he was going to drink it, I'd rather he'd be drinking it here than driving.
well, you know, and that's kind of you've got two ways that you can deal with addiction and alcohol. You can either do the no tolerance whatsoever, you know, you just cut them off completely, disown them. You don't have nothing else to do with them. You're not going to enable them. But then again, you're cutting them completely out of your life when you do that. Or, you know, you end up being collateral damage sometimes. I don't know. I'd say there's all different. There's there's more than just two. There's more than two. I don't know. What do you think about that, Mom?
Well, you have to deal with each situation. Just think about it for a little bit. And like me leaving that beer in the fridge if he did bring it home, that wasn't going to hurt nothing. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't going to drink it anyway. But if there had been, but it gave him the opportunity to make the decision. But I knew ahead of time he wasn't going to be drinking it. And because he'd heard me preach on it too much. So at any rate, but he was 18, I mean, or not 21, whatever it is that you can drink. I think he was old as he could, you know, it wasn't illegal. Mm-hmm. So, or you could be, you know, a hardcore, but You have to just look at the situation and do what's best. Hardcore might be the best.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and not everybody starts out there. I know with me, that's what I needed. Any kind of enabling with me wouldn't have worked. I needed to be out on my own to figure it out. And I had to come to my knees. I kind of had to lose everything, which I never had anything to lose to begin with. I never was able to get myself into a position to where I ever had anything.
You most usually had a car.
Well, yeah, now I lost plenty of those. Gosh almighty. I swear, if we could just go back and knowing what we know now, if we could just go back, but we know we can't.
Well, maybe it was something you needed to go through to be where you are today. I don't think it makes any difference what you did yesterday. Not really. What you need to do is try to make sure that every day you live the life that you want to live.
Yeah, definitely. I've learned that comes with a healing and a peace that we have to find in our lives, and that's an individual thing. We all have to get there on our own. My own personal belief is that it's a Jesus size hole, the God-shaped hole that's in us that we are seeking and searching the world for, to anything and everything to shove it in there, but it's God-shaped, and the only thing that's going to go in it is God. And until we get to that point, and lots of us, it takes coming to our knees before we realize that. But okay, so anyway, not every addiction story starts with a party. Some of them start with silence, the kind of silence that comes from growing up without someone in your corner. So no safety net, no steady voice saying you're enough. So you learn to adapt. You become what people want. You chase approval. You twist yourself into shapes that don't even feel like you anymore, just hoping that somebody will stay. And when that doesn't work, when the love still doesn't come, because that's what we're all looking for. Alan, shut your door. That's what we're all looking for, is to be loved. All of us are. You don't just feel rejected. You feel defective. That's where a lot of addiction really begins. Not with drugs, but with the need to feel okay in your own skin. I never did feel good in my own skin. I was always wishing that I was somebody else. I was always wishing that I had somebody else's mom, or wishing that I had somebody else's dad. I was wishing that I had anybody but who I was.
Well, I had a hard time finding my identity too, and it took me longer than it's taken you. I probably I've been retired 6 years. So after I retired, I finally did find who I was.
It takes a while for some of us, Some people don't realize how blessed they are. Sometimes I go to these ball games with my kids, and I'll see these families that, they've got their little cheerleaders and their little toddlers, and they got these giant bows on these little girls' heads and stuff. And like I'm about to cry right now just thinking about it. People don't realize, I truly don't think sometimes people realize how blessed they are. But I'm not going to talk about that because I won't get through it without choking up. Tonight, we're talking about something that people love to judge and rarely understand: Suboxone, recovery, and the stigma that keeps people trapped. Because there's this idea out there that if you're on something like Suboxone, you're not really clean, that you're weak, that you're cheating, you're high as a cat. You can see sometimes some people are critical of me on my show. They'll take screenshots of me on my show and they'll say, "Oh, she's higher than a kite on her show." Well, I do a show every single night. So if I've got some kind of a drug problem, I think I'm doing pretty good then.
You can be, up there with your rake hitting ducks, because that's your natural energy. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so to other people that don't get excited and, perked up, they think you're high.
Well, and
They've never been there. They've never felt that, that euphoric.
well, and I have anxiety real bad too. And sometimes my anxiety will get the best of me and I'll get loud. My voice will get raised and I'll get loud
And harsh, sometimes harsh.
and and
I
I
try
don't
not
know.
to do that anymore. I used to aggravate people to death when I'd take classes from them because I don't know why I irritated them. So now there were a lot of them that I didn't irritate. They thought I was the cream of the crop. So they either hated me or loved me.
And I'm the same way. The apple did not fall far from the tree.
I take
am
lots of
national-
classes. I'm this proverbial student, I suppose. So, I take a singing class. I go off and do a whole week of singing and that old country, that old Appalachian stuff. It's not country, it's a type of country.
Philip says that's called in time most important virtue.
I don't understand that.
Well, maybe I might have missed something here. See, Philip says, my whole family on the men's side, we worked hard and drank hard, but we didn't miss a day's work because of it. Oh, yeah, my dad would never have missed a day's work over drinking. No, ever.
He never drank. We never had alcohol in our house when I was married to him.
And see, you were married for 13 years. So just look at that. That's a perfect example. They were married 13 years and then divorced and married someone else. And the lifestyles were completely different. Like the life that I was used to living with you and him as a little girl, and y'all divorced when I was about 7. So then whenever he married someone else and completely flipped the script, and started drinking and just started this whole other lifestyle that was not like what you all had. Like, I don't even remember my life before that, which, I was a little girl. Gregory doesn't remember when he was little either. But, one thing that I always heard in school, I learned that a child's personality is developed by the time they are 6 years old. So by the time they're 6, anything that was happening, anything that they've been influenced by, anything that they've been exposed to under that age is going to shape their personality. I think that's fascinating. Season and Sprout says, girl, I got married and run off for a few months. But I'm back. where she's been. She got married and ran off. Are you still married? Did he come back with you? Or did you run off and leave him? Well, congratulations are in order, I guess. Salute, Philip says. Congratulations. We're so glad that you're back. Absolutely. All right. But that you're, let's see. So what was I saying? Oh, about Suboxone. You're not really clean. You know, you're weak, you're cheating, you're trading one drug for another. You know, you're still an addict. I'm always going to be an addict till the day that I die. You know, after that, it doesn't take away everything. I'm almost 50 years old. It doesn't erase my life. It doesn't erase my history. It doesn't erase my experience. You know, you don't get into recovery and then, you know, become this new person, which we do become this new person, but that doesn't erase who we were and, you know, what all happened to get us where we are now, right?
You bring that addiction with you and the craving for it. And so it was a way of relieving tension and anxiety and all that other stuff that you talk about. And so, you know, you're addicted to it, and your body and your mind wants it, and your soul and everything else, because you want to find a place of tranquility. So you have to, you know, I had to find a place of tranquility one time, and what I used was meditation. I studied it, and I took online classes with this group of people, and I did it every day, and it was fun.
Well, that's great. And everybody's got to, I mean, not gotta, but everybody basically takes some form of medicine for something. Let's see. I saw Miss Wanda in here. What are you saying, Miss Wanda? Hello, Miss Wanda. I miss it. Said, well, I tried it once, never again. Are you talking about marriage? I think she's talking about marriage.
She's just a fast learner.
For some reason, your stream got real slow when you did that, and it was really kind of neat. Marnie says, we are all blessed. Just looks different for each of us. Exactly. You know, I used to go to church, and I would always try, and I'd always want to get up and testify, you know, and tell something. And, you know, you can see that in the recovery rooms too. You know, anytime somebody starts getting into recovery, my cats are on zoomies. But anytime people get into recovery, it seems like that we want to work in it. That's what we want to do. Everybody that goes to treatment and gets, you know, some recovery under their belt wants to work in it.
Well, they think you know something, that you have something you can impart to other people. But most usually they got to learn it themselves. You know, you can't, you can talk to your blue in the face, and until they decide that it's something that they want.
Yep. But here's it's kind of like church. You know, sometimes people get saved and they'll go to church and they'll be there a week and they want to get up and start preaching. And they don't have enough time they really don't have enough time or experience under, you know, themselves to be up in front of a church trying to lead other people, right?
Right.
It just doesn't work. And recovery's kind of the same way. You know, you can perfect example. I went to the Chrysalis House in Lexington, and I was there, 8 months, 9 months. Did great. Never had a problem. Got me a job at UK and dental medical records, and I was doing really, really good. And the next thing you know, I hooked up with one of the male counselors at the men's rehab. Now, he was a counselor. Peer counselor, I guess. He had went through the program himself, and of course he was homeless. he was a real winner. And we ran off from rehab together, thinking that we were
gonna set the world on fire.
Yeah. And so what did we do? It wasn't no time, and we were drinking to celebrate something. And the next thing you know, it was just down the drain again. All that 8 months of sobriety and hard work in that treatment center, and I threw it away like it wasn't nothing. Just threw it away.
It was hard.
Oh, how many times I did that over and over. And it was abstinence. I was abstinent every time. And this time, this 15-year sober streak that I've had, it's not abstinent. I'm not abstinent. You damn Skippy Flippy, I take Suboxone every day of my life, and I will for the rest of my life. A lot of people,
maybe not.
A lot of people, every couple of years, a lot.
I was thinking about more than I was thinking about in the next 20 years.
Well, but
when you're about 70.
But see, well, maybe, but people get off of it all the time. People have a hard time getting off of it. There's a big controversy over it, okay? And people get off of it. They do. But it's no time once they're off of it. The majority, now there might be a few. There's always an exception to the rule. But the majority end up either relapsing after they're off of it, or they end up right back on Suboxone or some other form of treatment because they can't handle it. Most of us also struggle with mental illness, some form of it. And so it's just, and it's an individual thing, like Mommy said, I guess. It's situational. Each one of us, we're all individual people. But there's this new drug, right? There's this new drug that's killing people, and
back to that.
Well, the drugs, every so often, if you notice, the drug culture changes with time. Like we went through the opioid crisis with prescription opioids, prescription painkillers, prescription meds. And then you saw this influx of fentanyl that came across the border. And so we've had this huge fentanyl push the last, 10 years, I guess, maybe. And now there's this new drug that is stronger than fentanyl, and it's being mixed in with pills. They're making pills now that look exactly like the kind that you get from the pharmacy. They look exactly like what you would get in your prescription bottle. And it's fooling people. They're used to taking stuff that looks exactly like it. So they don't know what they're taking. They don't know that what they're taking is going to kill them. Some people aren't using Suboxone to get high. I don't get high on Suboxone. I mean, I also take blood pressure medicine. when I first started taking, but I've been taking it for 10 years. When I first started taking it, I would take it, my blood pressure would be up, and so I would take it, and then I'd go to church. And I'd be sitting about an hour later after I took it, I'd be sitting in church like this. With my mouth wide open, passed out in the pew. And I know that my pastor was up there preaching away, looking at me like, what in the world is wrong with her? It was just my blood pressure medicine. I wasn't high on nothing. My gosh. But it makes me go to sleep. I mean, it makes me so sleepy when I take it. So I try to take it at night. But if my blood pressure is up, what choice do I have to have? I have to take blood pressure medicine. Medicines are going to affect us in different ways.
So what are we doing to try to pinpoint this new drug? Do we have a drug test that can identify it?
Some labs can't even detect it, which is just absolutely shocking to me.
Well, how do we know it's there if we're not detecting it?
Well, it's called, let me pull this up. I wrote something on it today. Let me get over here. To where I wrote it. I can't remember the name of it. So let me pull this up and I'll read it. I know where I wrote it at. Here it is. Okay. So here's what I wrote. It said, you saw the headline, 40 plus dead, and we don't even know the full number. Here, let me share my screen with you guys. This is what I had written on Patreon.
It's in East Tennessee real bad, isn't it?
It's in Tennessee and in Kentucky. It's in Kentucky now, yeah. So 40 plus dead in Tennessee. That's where the deaths were. And we don't even know the full number. So y'all saw the headline, but here's what the graphic doesn't show you. Those 40 plus overdose deaths in East Tennessee tied to cyclorophene. That's the name of it, cyclorophene. That may not be the real number. Because right now, one of the biggest problems is a lot of labs still can't even test for it. So what does that mean? It means that some deaths are likely being misidentified, labeled as fentanyl, or they're never fully explained at all. Now, this is where it gets real for Kentucky. Cyclorophene has already been detected in this state. And if the testing gap exists here too, and it likely does in some areas, then we could be seeing cases without even realizing what's behind them yet. Now that's how this kind of thing spreads quietly, not with headlines at first, but with confusion. Why this matters more than what people think. This isn't just another drug. It's stronger than fentanyl. So, it's showing up mixed into other substances. It's harder to track. It's harder to fully reverse. That means the medicine that we give, what's it called? The Narcan. Narcan is not working as well. One of the stories that I saw, they said that you had to use like 10 of the Narcans versus 1 or 2 were 5 years ago on the way that the drugs are changing. You know, like 5 years ago, Narcan, they could use 1 or 2 squirts. And I've seen it. Have you guys seen the videos online of somebody who was absolutely dead and they Narcan them and they just come back to life immediately? Like, it's the craziest thing I've ever seen, the way that they do that with Narcan. They'll be flatline dead and give them Narcan, and the next thing you know, they're standing up, walking, talking. It's just amazing. It's an absolute miracle drug, that Narcan is. But this new stuff, the Narcan isn't working. So that combination is dangerous in a way that we've seen before, right before things spike. The uncomfortable truth. Will you stop? Phew, these critters, buddy. The uncomfortable truth, when officials say 40 deaths, that's based on what they can prove. So those 40 deaths, that's what they know is based are from this drug.
Do you know where it's coming from?
I'd say it's probably coming from across the border, the way that the rest of it is. I don't know. Well, hang on, and we're going to find out, though. I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah, because I was just wondering where it's coming through at. How it's getting into the country undetected. You know, they've dug tunnels under the river down there in Mexico at one time. I saw where they dug a tunnel to go from Mexico to the United States.
Will you go on?
But they eventually found it and they crashed it. So who's bugging you?
Well, this one over here is jerking on the curtain, and then this one over here is pulling paper out of my Bible.
Yeah. Yeah, there's probably very few families in eastern Kentucky that have not been touched by addiction. Now, some of those family members, you know, are in pretty good shape now, but it's something they have to guard against all the time. And I know lots of people that live around me that have been at one time addicted to one thing or another. And some of them get off of it eventually. But, you know, you think about all the tranquilizers and stuff like that we take too, that we take also in this country. We've just got our country kind of screwed up mentally. It seems like everybody's got a mental issue of some kind.
Ain't that the truth? Well, I just saw right before we went on the show that the Kentucky AG, the Kentucky Attorney General, was the one that did a nationwide push for the designer Xanax to be banned nationwide. I didn't even know that there was a designer Xanax.
I don't even know what it is either.
I think it's just, are any of you guys familiar with this, with what I'm talking about? The picture that they had on the report were Xanax bars, if anybody is familiar with what I'm talking about. That's what the picture was. And so I didn't know if they had banned the bars or if it was just they used that picture for a lack of, you know, a right picture.
I suppose my drug of choice was education.
Hypercapnia. Thank you.
You know, it was like the only time I was comfortable was when I was teaching or when I was taking classes. And that's what I do now. I take classes online, and I take a banjo class. I mean, I'm not taking chemistry or physics like I used to would. I'm taking something in the music, and then I have my radio show. Those are all kind of things that make that drug that makes you happy. What's the happy drug? It secretes in your body.
You talking about like endorphins and
Yeah, the endorphins are what make you feel good.
yeah.
And there are ways that you can, natural ways that you can have endorphins.
Exercise.
And people used to not have to worry about that because they worked from daylight to dark. And we didn't have all these designer drugs around that people could take. And we have had a problem with alcohol in this country. And before the days of the prohibition, it was a real problem. And then we went through prohibition, and that didn't work. So they brought it all back out and let liquor. So I guess people use liquor and alcohol, whatever, to take the place of the tranquilizers that we take today. Or the antidepressants. Antidepressants, we take a lot of those. If we just got up and had a farm and went out and worked and grew our own food and, kind of stayed home, minded our own business, I don't guess we'd need any of that stuff.
Well, it's that exposure was what I was talking about. Like, people get addicted to Orno-Pay. Those of you who are new to our channel, some words we kind of try and camouflage. So we use some pig Latin from time to time. Dopamine, second beach gal. Thank you, honey. That's exactly what she was trying to think of. But
oh yeah, they are dopamines. But what the word you use too is another one.
Yeah. What was I saying? Anyway, let me get off of that for a second and let me get back to this. We was talking about Suboxone, and we were talking just medically assisted treatment, because it's not just Suboxone. There's so many different forms of medicine that help with addiction today. You've got Vivitrol. There's like a shot that you can take that is kind of like a Suboxone long term. Like you can take a shot, and it is like a hard knot under your stomach. I've known several people that have taken it, but it gets them off the Suboxone. It gives them kind of the same medicine, but it releases under the skin for the month. And a lot of people end up getting off of Suboxone using that shot. A couple of my friends have done it, but one of them relapsed, and then she was too embarrassed and ashamed to tell anybody or to ask for any kind of help or anything. And she just kept using and just kept using and kept using. And, before you know it, she was right back out there again. And because when people relapse, like I said, they get embarrassed and ashamed. People, they're going to disappoint so many people. Oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine. I could not imagine having to look my kids in the face, after I had relapsed. That would be really, really hard. But, we have to do it. We have to do it. We all have to humble ourselves, buddy. I tell you, it's not easy. But being, humbling ourselves is easier than being humbled, if you've ever been that. Anyway, but some people aren't using Suboxone to get high. They're using it to stay alive. I don't know anybody that does use it to get high. Honestly, even the people that don't have a subscription, even people that don't have a prescription, they got it in their pocket, or maybe they've busted them in the car and they've got a whole bunch of fentanyl and all these other big drugs, and then they've always got a few Suboxone in there somewhere to make sure that they lump it all together. But I would say they keep that for when they're in withdrawals, or for when they don't have any more dope, or whatever. But it's really, really a difficult road recovery is. Okay. Hyper Kimberly says, I had a friend that got hooked on some kind of tabs from the gas station. She tried cold turkey to quit, and she said her skin crawled. She was in the floor, withering in pain and more. I've heard of a lot of people going through withdrawals from some of those things that they got at the gas station. Now that years and years ago, do you all remember people used to be able to get like white crosses, they'd call them, and stuff like that. You'd get like caffeine pills over the counter and stuff. And they were speed. That was like generic speed of some kind. But I remember that back in the day. What were they? Fin-Thins or something. My memory is horrible. Back to the end of my article here. The uncomfortable truth. When officials say 40 deaths, that's based on what they can prove, not necessarily what's actually happening. I'm going to keep digging into it and updating as more information comes out, especially anything tied to the Kentucky and Eastern Kentucky and Tennessee, because Tennessee's just not far from us. But that was a little article that I had put in on Patreon this morning. The CDC. So let's go look at what the CDC is saying over it. Drug overdose mortality. Okay. So the mortality rate. Let's see.
Lucky sister.
I wonder. Kentucky.
Come on.
Moved.
Come on. Get in
Death
here.
rate in Kentucky.
Get in here.
48. Is that daily? Drug overdose deaths per 100,000 total population. So for Kentucky, deaths, 2,077. And it says the death rate is 48. Tennessee, the death rate is 52.3. 3,616 deaths. So that's 1,600 more roundabout average. Let's see. All right. So there were overall deaths around 3,600 overdose deaths per year in Tennessee. At the peak of 22 and 23, it was closer to 3,800 deaths annually. More recent estimates suggest a drop around 2,500 to 3,000 deaths as of 24 to 25. But that sounds like improvement. But here's the truth. Yeah, numbers might be dipping a little, but we're still losing thousands of people every single year. All right. Let me pull this over here where I can see it. I can't see it over there. All right. So it says, what's causing the deaths? Fentanyl is still the main killer. In places like Nashville, 69% of overdose deaths involve fentanyl. 2005 data is where that came from. Across Tennessee, roughly 60 to 80% of deaths tied to fentanyl. Translation: if somebody dies from an overdose right now, odds are fentanyl was involved. Xylazine. Have y'all heard of the Xylazine? Now, Xylazine, it shows people drooped over in their arms and their legs. Xylazine. Let me show you what it does. It's absolutely awful. It's awful. We don't want to show anything that is copyrighted. Xylazine. Let's just read this together. It's crazy. Xylazine, also known as Trank. It's like some kind of a veterinarian tranquilizer, like a horse tranquilizer or something. It's also known as Trank, is a veterinary tranquilizer that has been found in some illicit drug supplies. People often use Xylazine without knowing it when it is added to other drugs, most frequently fentanyl. Xylazine, jeez. Man. Sorry, y'all. My cats are like going crazy. I got zoomy cats, buddy. Man. We're tearing up my stuff. Sorry. All right. Xylazine can slow breathing, heart rate, and blood pressure to dangerously low levels. Overdose reversal medications do not reverse the effects of Xylazine. Same thing. That Narcan is not working. And their legs and their arms get like tree trunks. They get really, really big and swelled up, and they get real big open wounds and open sores on them. And they just, I think the, whatever's in this stuff, that Xylazine, that Trank, it eats their bodies from like the inside out. It's awful. Experts recommend that people give opioid overdose reversal medications to those experiencing symptoms of an overdose with suspected Xylazine exposure, since opioids are often present with Xylazine. In addition to risk for overdose, repeated Xylazine use is associated with skin wounds, such as open sores, ulcers, and abscesses. NIDA-supported research is underway to understand Xylazine's effects on the body, its impact on communities, and its role in the overdose crisis. NIDA also supports broader research into changes to the drug supply. and evolving patterns of drug use across the United States. This includes how and why people use drugs and are exposed to xylazine and synthetic opioids like fentanyl. Why people use them. There's so much trauma. Like we were talking, or I tend to think that exposure is like the number one thing. I was trying to get to this point earlier and I got distracted. Talking about ornopay, people who get addicted to smacks and all that kind of stuff. If they had never been exposed to it, just think about that. If they had never, if it had never come across the TV, or if, somebody had never brought that dirty magazine home, or, whatever. But if they'd not ever been exposed to it, maybe they'd have been addicted to something else, but because I am, even to this day, I get hooked on food. Food, I think, is a real big one for a lot of people in recovery. But I'll get hooked on one specific thing. Like, I started getting hooked on them nerds. They're pure sugar, right? Sugar's real easy to get to. But
you should have got hooked on the geeks instead of the nerds. Oh, I'm sorry.
I know that was good, Mom. I wish. But them nerds, I gained up 10 pounds in a week eating them things. Or, I like a certain kind of salad. I made me a salad one day and it was really good. And so I ate that same exact salad I ate for 4 months every day. Or I'll make me a milkshake out of some ice cream and that's it. I'll have to have a milkshake every night before I go to bed. And just little things like that. And I'll get like hooked on them, I can get to where anything, like I went through a phase where I wanted to I like watching UFC fights. Well, I went a whole year where I didn't miss a fight. I bought the pay-per-view every single time. And if there was a fight coming on and I thought that I didn't have enough money to pay for that fight, well, I found the money to pay for that fight. And that's stupid. Do you know how stupid that is? Because all I had to do was wait one day and I could have seen it on YouTube. It would have been on YouTube for free. But no, I had to watch that fight. It's just stupid stuff. It blows me away, the kind of waste and stuff. Just addiction is crazy. It makes so many things. Thought you were going to say that the Russian drug crocodile had made inroads here. That is, I have heard of that drug too. Let me see. Let me pull that up. Crocodile, devil's breath. Let's see. It doesn't show us any kind of pictures. I don't know if we're really wanting to see any, but crocodile drug facts. What is crocodile? Desomorphine, known by the street name crocodile or crocodile, is a powerful opioid derivative of codeine. Like heroin and other opioids, it has a sedative and analgesic effect and is highly addictive. Desomorphine is a Schedule I substance in the U.S., meaning it has a high abuse potential with no accepted medical use. Other chemical names include stuff we can't pronounce. It has been controlled in the U.S. since 1936. Long-term users who inject this caustic agents into their veins can develop extreme skin ulcerations, infections, and gangrene. A discolored green, gray, and black scale-like skin that resembles a crocodile, hence the street name Crocodile or Crocodile. Crocodile is also called Russian magic, referring to its short duration of opioid intoxication, euphoria. It's high. It is called poor man's heroin, as it is cheaper alternative to heroin. Crocodiles reported to contain a bunch of stuff. Due to illicit home-based manufacturing, it may contain other unknown ingredients. It's typically abused via IV in the vein. The codeine derivative in the synthetic path. I don't know what none of that means. Okay, so that's all we need to know about that. Listen, if people think that anybody would want to take anything like that, if people thought that you want to be a drug addict, that you want, what it is, it's that being in your own skin thing. With me, it was the pain was so bad inside my own mind and my own heart. I hurt so much that anything was better than just normal. It didn't matter what it was. And I think that's what it is for a lot of people. I truly do. And when people become addicts from like a surgery, an injury, or something like that, there's usually like an underlying thing that's broken within them, that then whenever they start taking that medicine, it's like, oh, they just weren't never exposed to it before. And they were being exposed to it through that injury, whereas somebody else was exposed to it through a different way. But I think that underlying cause is usually there. Philip says, I got plague in my legs 10 years ago. It was a 50%, but when I drank 3 beers a day, my leg don't hurt because it thins the blood for better blood flow. I don't have any problem with anybody drinking, or if, people got to take, look at my dog Rex says lithium. Yeah. There's a lot of people that take lithium. There's a lot of people that have to take medicine. And some people self-medicate. Not everybody not everybody has found a medication that works for them.
Well, I take a whole handful every day. I take some in the morning, some at noon, and some at night. I take something for my blood pressure, something for my cholesterol. I take potassium, iron, vitamin D. I mean, prescribed ones too.
Yeah, absolutely. People, not, like I said, not everybody's found a medicine that works for them. So, a whole lot of people smoke Mary Jane because it helps them not choke people out. Some people, like my dad, he drank him a 6-pack of beer, or some people might be able to drink him a beer at night, and that's all they, then they don't have to keep drinking. But That's a personal thing, you know. I'm just saying, I'm not condoning, anything, but I'm not putting anything down either. That's just a personal thing. And who am I to tell somebody else how they need to be living? I ain't nobody to tell nobody else how to live their life. All I'm trying to do is try to survive mine. And if I can share a little bit of my experience to maybe help somebody else not have to go through what I went through, or if I can share mine and help somebody else not feel so alone, or, then it's worth it. Daryl says it's the Holy Spirit working on them, and they don't even know what it is. So they try to fight it off with drugs. Well, that's what I was saying, that hole is God-shaped, and we try to fill everything else we can in there. But now I am not one of those people that think that, God doesn't want us taking medicine. I think God gave us doctors for a reason. I think that, we are supposed to use the knowledge and the wisdom. And, there's bad in everything. Anything in excess is bad for us. Moderation is the key, they say. Now, I haven't mastered that yet myself. I am a work in progress. Thank you. Yes, if you'd like to support the channel, we have a bunch of different ways that you can support. Marnie says, we all have wounds from our life, and we all have a choice of how we deal with those wounds. Amen, Miss Marnie. Some people do therapy. Some people take drugs. Some people eat. Some people shop. Many different ways. You got that right. And we all just have to try and survive. Oh my God, I once bought some pot gummies and took one gummy early one evening. I woke up the next morning and was still high. I'd forgotten my stomach loves to grind on food. She says, I went to work and I was still high and was chatting with one of my coworkers, and she told me I needed to calm down. I eventually did, and the gummies hit the trash.
Well, that was probably the best thing to do.
No.
You didn't need those gummies.
Yeah. Well, let me get back over here. It was telling me about this. Oh, I got it over here in my thing. Okay, so I was reading the deaths. More recent suggests, there was a drop. So that sounds like improvement, but here's the truth. Numbers might be dipping a little down in Tennessee, but we're still losing thousands of people every single year. Fentanyl is still the main killer. I read Nashville, 69% of overdose deaths involve fentanyl.
Yeah.
I figured it'd be higher than that. Roughly 60 to 80% of deaths tied to fentanyl across Tennessee. Let's see. And I read that about Xylazine. 324 Xylazine related deaths from 2019 to 2022. 324 in 3 years. So that's not a whole lot, but it's still it's too many. I can tell you.
One's too many.
Yeah, one is too many. and it jumped to 500 plus cases in 2023 alone. That's a big jump. That's so it's more than doubled in 2023. And that's just what's been detected, right? This ain't just fentanyl anymore. They're mixing it with stuff that Narcan doesn't fully reverse. Stronger synthetics are showing up. There's also concern about drugs like nitazines. 0 cases went to 10 cases, and 10 cases went to 42 deaths in just a couple years. And that's of the Tennessee data. So lab-made opioids, sometimes they're stronger than fentanyl. But what makes this different now? This is the key message tonight. It's not one drug anymore. It's combinations of all of them. Oh, it's fentanyl. But in reality, it's fentanyl and it's xylazine mixed together. Or it's fentanyl and some kind of a stimulant, meth, mixed together. Or it's a combination of a whole big bunch of unknown synthetics. The CDC data shows that many deaths now involve multiple drugs together. It's not just one. What they're seeing on the ground, people don't know what they're taking. That's what we're seeing. Pills look like prescriptions, but they aren't. Narcan doesn't always fully save them anymore. Wounds and infections are increasing. First responders are seeing more complicated overdoses. They're not being able to save them. Where in Tennessee that it's hitting the hardest, the big problem areas are Nashville, Davidson County, Knoxville, Knox County. That's not far from here. Knoxville's what, 45 minutes from here, Mom?
Oh, it's more than that.
Hour and a half?
I don't know, maybe. At least that.
Memphis is seeing big numbers. Rural Appalachian regions are harder hit because there's less resources. It ain't just big cities anymore. It's everywhere. Like whenever we first started the show tonight, I said, you know, we were usually the last one to get the trends. We're usually the last ones that these new drugs come to. Not anymore.
I got a funny I can tell you about that.
Okay, go ahead.
East Kentucky is a good place to live if the end of the world comes, because it'll take it 20 years to get here.
That's good, Mommy. Merle says, well, I voted to make recreational marijuana legal. Good for you. And I'd only smoked one joint back in 1975 and didn't like it. So I wanted to see if gummies might be better. The answer was no, no, nope. Philip says,
I think Virginia is going to start selling marijuana in Kentucky, aren't they?
I'm not sure how that's going to go down.
I didn't either. I couldn't figure it out. It didn't make any sense.
If they do, we got a store right down the street ready to start our own store. We got the building ready to go. I wish they'd let Kentucky sell it. People over in Virginia they've had all kinds of stores over there that have done really, really well. But who knows? Kentucky is funny on that. I just don't know how they'll end up. I think they voted for medical, ain't they? Finally.
They did for medical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Philip says, yep, it's medicinal and passed in Lexington. No, little Kentucky, there really ain't no set time. Anywhere between 7 and 9. Just depending on the day. But I always try and get it scheduled just a little bit before. I usually am running late, though. I'm a hot mess, y'all. I appreciate y'all being here. I see that side eye, mommies.
No, I'm eating popcorn.
I know, mommy. I'm just teasing you. All right. Well, I just thought it'd be, we needed to do a show on this stuff. If it's coming, it's already here. And I mean, I'm not out there on the streets. And most of you all, I don't think, are out there on the streets anymore. Most of our viewers are my age or older. And, we've done a lot of our regular viewers have already been through a lot of these stages in our life as well. And, we're all just trying to survive and trying to heal and, trying to find our peace, like mommy says. And we enjoy each other's company every night. So, Second Beach Gal usually posts earlier each day. Yeah, I try, but hopefully one of these days we'll get a better, more set time. But we're a year and a half into the show and we still ain't got a good one. So hopefully one day it'll happen. But Butler, thank you so much for your super sticker. I appreciate it more than you know. We are now a multi-platform company. We are a multi-platform investigative space. And I'm working really, really hard every single day. I sit here at my computer from the time I get up until the time I go to bed, working, and working to keep, to get this business, moving, keeping it moving and building it. And it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and better every single day. And it's doing amazing. We're in the building process. And so it's a lot of work. At the end of the day, this ain't just about drugs. It's about people. It's about somebody's son, somebody's daughter, somebody who didn't wake up this morning thinking, I'm going to lose everything today. I'm going to go flush it all down the toilet. We're living in a time where the drugs out there, well, they're stronger than anything we've ever seen before. They're more unpredictable. They're more unforgiving. And we have absolutely no idea, not truly, what it's doing to the brain. To the brain of the user, right? I mean, people are dying every single day, and the ones that aren't dying are still here. But it's not because they're evil. It's not because they're weak. It's because they're human. And while that's all happening, there's still people out there, calling them names, saying real nasty things, making them feel like they're not worthy to be saved. Still people saying, just quit. Just be stronger. Just don't do it. Well, if I did it, if I can quit, you can quit. It's like it's that simple, right? If it was that simple, everybody would do it. Let me tell you something. We wouldn't be burying thousands of people every year if it was that simple. Now, some of us had to fight our way out of that life. We never should have been put into in the first place. But some of us had to learn how to survive without ever being shown how. And yeah, some of us needed help to get out. For me, that help was Suboxone. 15 years, no relapse. Not because I'm better than anybody, but because I made a decision. I'm not risking my life. I'm not going to risk my kids. Not doing it. I'm not gambling on pride. Not even for a 1% chance. So anybody that it bothers that I take Suboxone, it's just going to have to bother them. I'm not going to quit taking a medicine that has changed my life just because it bothers other people that I take it, right? I'm not going to quit taking it if there's 1% chance that I could relapse. If there's a 1% chance that I could fail and fall. And with my track record, are you kidding? Because my kids need me. They need a mother. And I need them. And that's enough. Mic drop. So if you're out there and you're fighting and you're doing whatever you have to do to stay alive, whether it's medication, whether it's therapy, whether it's meetings, whether it's drinking them a beer, whether it's smoking them a Mary J, just getting through the day. Listen to me. That ain't weakness. That's survival. And don't let anybody shame you for surviving. We don't do that here. We tell the truth, we support each other, and we fight to break cycles. So the next generation doesn't have to go through what we did. And this is Hillbilly Crime, and where we talk about the hard things, because ignoring them is what got us here in the first place. Okay. So we will absolutely be here tomorrow night. We want to thank all of you guys for being here. Juju says, good show tonight, Elizabeth. I sure enjoy Sweet Tater and her input. God bless you both. Thank you for being here. God bless you too, honey. We always, Miss Trudy, bless you, bless you. It's good to see you. We've got a lot of people here tonight. Please do a show about the abuse of power when it comes to the KSP. Have you all seen about the Kentucky State Trooper indicted by the feds and the desperate need for cameras on all police cars, body cameras? We will We definitely will. We've been doing just whatever's in the news and stuff. We've been doing a lot of Kentucky power stuff too, but make sure you come and check us out on our Patreon. I put up a couple articles today, a couple new things. And we've got a lot of our power clips, our public power. That's what I've kind of named those clips, the power clips, the public comment series that I've put out. That's the public power. It's all kind of fell in place, right? Kentucky Power is the name of the business, is the name of the power company. And, Hillbilly Crime is my thing here. And so we've started our Hillbilly Power series. And then the shoot-offs from that, the video clips, are the public power. And so it's all kind of just fell right into place. I'm just loving it. I love working too, y'all. Don't get me. When I say I work from the time I get up till the time I go to bed, I love it. I mean, I love it. I wouldn't want to be doing anything else. God sure is good, ain't he? Thank you, Jesus, for another day being able to come together in your name, Lord. We lift all of our hillbillies up to you, Lord. Everybody that's under the sound of my voice tonight, Lord, I lift them up to you, and I pray for healing. I pray for a touch, whatever it is, whatever need they have in their life, Lord. I pray that you touch it. I pray that you move and that you just show them your God. Show them what your power can do, Lord. I love you, Jesus. I'm so thankful for your presence in my life. You sure changed my life. I'm so thankful for the sacrifice that you made, dying for my sins. I pray that you forgive me, Lord, for all my sins. Forgive me for my failures every day. I fall on my face, but you always grab me by my hand and pick me up, and on we go, putting another foot right in front of the other. I thank you, Jesus. I thank you for always being there. But we pray tonight for those that are lost. I pray that the Holy Ghost will draw them to you. I pray that you will put a hedge of protection up around about all of us. Hide us from the devil, Lord. We know he is just roaming to and fro, seeking whom he can devour. And the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. I pray that you help us to learn how to use the weapons of warfare, of spiritual warfare. Help us, Lord. Help us to learn how to put on the armor of God and use it to fight the devil. But the battle is yours. The battle was yours and you already won it. I just pray that you help us learn. Because I sure don't know. I don't know a lot of things. And just take it day by day. I pray that you give us the spiritual sight that we need. I pray for discernment. I pray for knowledge and wisdom. Give us the things that we need to be able to accomplish your will in our lives. I pray that you go with us tonight, Lord, and bring us back tomorrow safely at the appointed time. And until then, I give you all praise, honor, and glory. In Jesus' name, in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you all tomorrow. I love you, Mommy.
I love you too.
All right.
You did a good job tonight. And I like your show.
Thanks. I like you being here.
You just sound so smart.
Oh, well, you always give us a balanced voice, and everybody loves you, Mommy.
Oh,
The Kentucky girl says, yes, Lord. Amen. We Pentecostal up in here now. I have to catch myself all the time. A lot of people out there ain't ready for that, y'all. You know that, right? All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace out, Girl Scout.
All
Bye.
right. Thanks.
Mommy.
Can't hide from hillbilly crime. You can't hide from hillbilly crime. You may not know that there's a crew in town. The head hillbillies are making their rounds. Small town whispers loud and clear. The sheriff shot the judge in his chambers chair.
Sheriff got a secret he won't keep. Judge shot dead in his disbelief. A lot of people have some stories to tell. Dark pass away, get the sound of a shotgun shell.
All the secrets still on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Neighbors hide behind their blinds. Whisper tales of troubled minds. Skeletons covering the mountainside. A treacherous reality in the pines.
Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight couldn't mask the cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no